What's going on? Welcome to the 5-Minute Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Colton Olson, and on this podcast, we spend about 5 minutes, I say about 5, give or take a couple sometimes, breaking down and teaching you to apply psychological concepts that world-class athletes, CEOs, coaches, and elite military units use to take their performance to the next level. The key word here is apply. I don't want you to come here and just get a bunch of information and not know how to use it. I want you to leave here every day feeling like you have something in your hands that you can use right away to improve your life. Let's get to it. As an athlete or even a professional, there are few things more exciting or rewarding for you than showing up and giving your best performance. All the practice reps, film sessions, failures, hours in the weight room, meetings, and behind-the-scenes work are done with the idea that they're going to lead us to perform our best. I mean, people don't usually show up and work their asses off every day to perform at an average level, right? We want to be at our best, and we want to show people what we're capable of, and we want to put our teams in the best position to win. But what does it mean to perform our best? Does it mean that you beat the person or the team you're facing? Does it mean you impress the people around you? Or does it mean that you had the best performance of your life? In performance psychology, we use two different words to describe someone's best. We use the words optimal and peak. Optimal performance means performing the best you can with what you have in a given environment, and peak means the best performance you can ever give. And today we're going to discuss why we end up chasing peak performance most of the time when actually we should be chasing optimal performance, and how pursuing optimal performance can lead to great games, great seasons, and even great careers. So like I said, peak performance means you're performing the best you can possibly perform. If you're expecting to peak, that means that you're expecting to show up and accomplish something you've never done before. You're going to set a personal best, and you're going to establish a new standard for yourself. A great example of peak performance in athletes that truly pursue peak performance are Olympians at the Olympics. Athletes that compete in the Olympics train for 4 years with the intention of peaking during the Olympics, sometimes just for like 10 seconds during the Olympics. They want to come out and put on the best performance of their life one time. And that performance often results in a personal best, if not an Olympic or world record. It's an incredible thing. If it's so incredible, though, why am I saying that you shouldn't be pursuing peak performance? You'd think we would all want to try and be the best we've ever been every time we perform. And that is a nice idea. But there are a few problems with trying to peak with every performance. First, as much as we think we can, it's nearly impossible to go out and perform your best every time you go out. There are so many factors that contribute to performance that we can't control, so it isn't realistic to expect to peak with every performance. Second, you don't have to be at your absolute best every time you go out in order to be successful and consistently improve. When it comes to winning, we know through research that the team or individual that plays at about 90% of what they're capable of usually wins. So you don't have to be perfect, you just need to be solid. And the best way to improve is learning from struggles, so consistent improvement comes from you not being at your peak all the time. And third, perfect is the enemy of great. I've seen tons of athletes get so caught up in seeking perfection that they don't give themselves a chance to be great. When your goal is perfection, you end up becoming afraid of making mistakes, and when you're afraid of making mistakes, you won't take risks, you won't push yourself, and you end up getting worse. You want to learn and grow, not be perfect. So instead of looking for peak performance all the time, you want to pursue optimal performance. Optimal performance means performing your best with what you have in whatever environment you're in. Some days you're going to feel great, and optimal performance might be near your best, but most days you're not going to feel great. You're going to be tired, you're going to be sore, distracted, or emotional, and as a result, you're not going to have your best stuff. On those days, optimal performance is probably going to be a little bit closer to average, and the day might be a learning experience. But both scenarios are good, and both can be wins as long as you approach them the right way. Pursuing optimal performance leads to the development of some really valuable skills. So first, it teaches you to figure out how to perform when you don't feel your best. Unfortunately, we rarely feel our best. And even if we don't feel our best, we still have a duty to perform, so we need to know how to go out and use what we have. This happens when we're just trying to be our best on a given day. Second, it teaches us to be adaptable. One of the best formulas for success is competence plus adaptability. This means that you have the skills necessary to succeed, and you can adapt to use those skills in any environment and under any circumstances. Just use what you have wherever you are. That's optimal. And third, Pursuing optimal performance sets the stage for long-term success. They say you become great by being good for a really long time. Being good for a long time just means bringing the best version of you, whatever that version of you looks like, wherever you are on that day. So remember, you don't want to be perfect. You want to be great. Embrace the battles, embrace the bad days, tough environments, and use them to grow. Pursuing optimal performance, not peak performance, makes you great long term. Now, I've got 3 tactics for you to employ so you can work to perform optimally every day in your life. Tactic 1, embrace the 90% rule when it comes to competition, even daily work. I mentioned research shows that teams that play at about 90% of what they're capable of usually win. Lean into that. To find success, you just need to be solid. Minimize the big mistakes and stay consistent. You don't have to be perfect. Perfect's the enemy of great. Tactic 2, train yourself to perform when you don't feel good. Like I said, most of the time, we don't feel our best and we still need to perform, right? It's our duty. Just be optimal. Use what you have with wherever you are on that day. But battle. You got to fight. And tactic 3, take note of and celebrate your wins every day. When you're trying to be great and when you have high standards, like I'm assuming a lot of you do, it can be easy to forget about the things you accomplish. Take some time, recognize your wins each day, even when you aren't perfect. You'll find wins more often than you think, even when you're not your best. So that's all we got for today. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you back here next time on 5 Minute Mindset.